to tell you. Arteries aching, I'm always aware. Bombing these box stars, bewildered and bare. Calmly I call out to cohorts, they cool. Tension develops, I drop in the duel. Escape is not imminent, evil scratches at the eyes. Fire feeds fury, flame fists free to fly. Guns get drawn, kill, grant me Godspeed. Hell have no hurry like yes, halos and heat. Ill will intent, iridescent isospheres. Jumping jack, flash, jitter, crash, I hit jizz. Killer across truck, maroon kaleidoscope. Leverage leaves loose, beat that knife in a rope. Must not stop, move fast to motivate. Noose around my neck, will not negotiate. Obelisk overhand, onslaught of the ox. Great pressure perpetuate and leave me perplexed. Quick while ahead, skin quivers with the quiet. Roving red tyrant turns internal riot. Stand still a second, sense scream, still survive. Too much to trouble tears through the tribe. Upset the underdog and catch the undertaker. Valentine blue, not a great motivator. Wait won't work, willing to survive will. X marks the spot, xenophobic stand still. You yanked off the chain, yellow eyes from the yang. No death and zone and I'm the silver standing straight. This is my story, I will not divide. Fight for my family, stop the beast, fight the hive. My collective, connected, subconscious of Jacob Jordan, if you will, show it straight to steel. Treaded on earth, the builder's birth. Catching cool air, enjoying every minute for what it is worth.
When my first child was born, I think I was 24 years old, and I was a wreck. Just a selfish alcoholic who just reacted to everybody and everything with negative emotion. And I knew that. I knew I needed help. I just didn't think it was available. But one huge, very huge mistake I made was I assumed that once my daughter was born, I would automatically just turn into an adult. I honestly, literally thought, and a lot of this is just based on TV, movies, shitty books, because so many people say like, oh, once my child was born, I became a different person. So I assumed that would happen, and it didn't. I didn't put any effort into becoming a better person. I wanted to be a better person, but I had no idea how. Like in my core, I knew there was a decent moral person, but I had just been, just glazed over with selfishness, with anger, with, lies, with paranoia. My whole life was just negative influence. So by the time I'm 24 years old and I'm supposed to be a father to a child that I brought into the world, I'm not ready. Not only that, but that magic trick of me just becoming a father didn't work. And it doesn't work for a lot of us. It doesn't work for most of us, probably. I'm assuming, of course. My daughter was the most important thing in the world to me. I loved her. I still love her. We don't talk, but I love her. I love both my kids. But that was just pure ignorance. It was hubris. I thought an event was going to change me. Which brings me to my point. It's New Year's resolution time, guys. One of my favorite times of the year is when people discuss what they're not going to do next year and then just don't do it at all. I think New Year's resolutions are just some of the most ridiculous things that are reserved for losers. Because if you're going to resolve to be, if you're sitting here at the end of November, the beginning of December, hell, it's December 26th. If you're sitting here going, well, I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the gym more. I'm going to be more honest. Like, you have to start that way before January 1st if you're going to be able to do it by January 1st. One of my favorite things to do is to drive by gyms on January 1st that are completely empty. Just completely empty. Because while you're drunk and overeating, you're like, oh, I got to go to the gym. I'll work out every day 2016. And then it never happens because you set yourself up for failure. You say, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to progress, but you make no plans for it. You think literally because the number of the year changed, all of a sudden you're going to change too. It still requires effort. For those of you who know me, know I have a problem with alcohol. I can't casually drink. Once I start, I don't stop. I'm already violent. I love to fight, and I don't have a filter. We should not be adding alcohol to that. I think everybody will agree we should not be adding alcohol to this. Because I'll say whatever the fuck I want. I'll do whatever the fuck I want, and I'll fight whoever the fuck I want completely sober. So all those things I'm working on. But I'm not going to wait till January 1st to start working on those things. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's like people who complain about Mondays. Mondays don't suck. Your lack of preparation sucks. You knew Monday was going to come up. You knew it's scheduled. You literally know when it's going to happen. But you don't prepare. How hard would it be to make your lunch on Sunday, get your clothes out on Sunday, shower the night before? How hard would it be to do that stuff? Right? Make sure there's already gas in the car. Make sure you have something to eat. Make sure you have some caffeine or whatever it is you need. Ready to go. None of us do that. We wake up on Monday morning going, oh, this sucks. And we buy our lunch because we suck. We're late because we suck. We have a bad attitude at work because we suck. If you're going to change, it needs to happen immediately. Excuse me. If you need to change, the effort has to happen immediately. It's just like people who say, oh, I'm gonna start my own business. I'm gonna produce a record. I'm gonna become the best skateboarder in the county. Every time you say I'm going to do something, your brain fires off the tiniest little bit of endorphins. Like your body and brain get excited about that. Like, oh, we're going to do something. The problem with modern lazy people is we take that endorphin rush and we just get that and we're satisfied. Like if you say, I'm going to run a marathon more than maybe 3 times, you're not going to run a marathon. Because now you're just getting the satisfaction of saying, I'm going to run a marathon. You don't need the satisfaction of running the marathon. You're getting satisfaction in these tiny little blips, just like you get scrolling through Instagram. So the actual accomplishment, the actual achievement that's not a goal. It's just to get these tiny little minuscule ego boosts that really just set you up for failure. I mean, really, honestly, pay attention to people say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Because a lot of that is procrastination that comes from anxiety anyway. Now, my brother's a prime example. For years, we'll just say doing the dishes. I was gonna do the dishes. My sister or I will do the dishes, and then he said, oh, I was gonna do that. So yeah, these dishes sat here for 4 days, dude. When were you gonna do that? It's not I was gonna do that, just fucking do it. Right? But he deals with anxiety. So procrastination is just part of his thing. Trust me, I know I deal with anxiety and procrastination is part of my thing. I'm not pulling anybody's card. I'm just as guilty. But I work on it. I apply effort. I don't tell people what I'm going to do. I just do it. I don't get the praise. I don't get the accolades. I don't get the attention. I don't get the likes, but it gets done. Because if I get the praise, if I get the accolades, if I get the like, I'm not going to do it. Those of you planning to be a different person because it's 2026, you're not going to do it. You need to apply effort immediately, daily, and 100%. Literally fake it till you make it. I used to hate that term, but it is literally your path to success. I'm not a very good investor. I don't know that much about it, but I study it. I ask questions. I've learned. I've gotten much better at it. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but my money is sitting and making money for me. Instead of spending it on shoes and Netflix, it's sitting and producing and doubling every 8 years. My money doubles every 8 years by not spending it. But if I go, oh, I'm going to save, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I won't do it. Like if I sit and go like, oh, I'm going to save until I can buy a BMW, that will never happen. So I don't say that. because I would like that to happen. And yes, I said BMW, not Mercedes. The big difference is Mercedes, they're created for the passengers, and BMWs are created for the driver. That's the stark difference between BMWs and Mercedes. Mercedes are for the passengers, BMWs are for the driver. Lamborghinis are for guys with small dicks. Porsches are for guys that have small dicks but want real cars. I should know I want a Porsche. My dick isn't small. She lied. But if you're going to be a better person, you cannot postpone it. That's not being a better person. If you're like, I'm going to be more proactive in a week. Who are you fooling? Who are you kidding? Any resolutions you're going to make them now. Make them right now. Make them today. Write a list. Write a list of your shortcomings. One of the biggest things I ever did for my progress is one day I'm like, I have to sit and literally be truthful about who I am. Who am I? I'm lazy. I'm self-righteous. I'm angry. I have very little patience. I'm a slob. And then my brain said, these are all things we can work on. These are all very simple things we can work on. We just apply a little bit more effort every day. Like Jordan Peterson said in his book, 12 Rules, you don't have to clean your whole house. Maybe just iron a shirt. Maybe just pick up the dirty clothes and put them in the hamper. Start with something. Not with a fantasy. Start with literal action. Faith without works is dead. Saying you're going to do something without actually doing it means you're a loser. That's the people who I used to hang out with. I stopped hanging out with people whose words don't match up with their actions. If you say I'm going to do something and you didn't do it, if you say you're going to do something and you didn't do it, if you're going to say something and you didn't do it, at that point I'm like, I cannot trust this person. This person is full of shit. Because they're just living off those endorphins. Like, I'm gonna go on a diet. I'm gonna get more professional. I'm going to educate myself. Nope. That's a guaranteed path towards failure. Guaranteed path towards failure. So that being said, what are your New Year's resolutions, guys? Like, what's going on? So, wasn't planning on making a video today. I'm not even wearing a shirt with buttons. Earlier this morning, I was fiddle fucking through Instagram, and I came across Jake Shields. For those of you who don't know who Jake Shields is, he's usually agreeing with and supporting Nick Fuentes, who I also agree with and support. I also agree with and support Jake Shields, except for this particular situation it upset me. He and some fucking faggot, a literal pole smoker, sit on his show and talk about how marijuana's a lefty drug, about how marijuana's for lefties, about how marijuana's for losers. And that's just so far from the truth. That's so far from the truth. The majority of the people I smoke with are conservatives. Everybody smokes weed. Everybody smokes weed. Everybody. From children to grandmas. From dishwashers to doctors. Everybody smokes weed. I've smoked weed with every type of person on this fucking planet. People who were voted into office smoke weed. Bill Gates smoked weed. What's his name? Geraldo Rivera smokes weed. So many of these fuckers. George W. Bush smoked weed. Are these guys lefties? No. No. Quite the opposite. And it's really frustrating now that we have all the information about marijuana that we have. Of course, here in America, you're only going to get about 75 to 100 years of history, but marijuana has been used medicinally for over 5,000 years. It's an amazing drug. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't even consume sugar. I think marijuana is fantastic. Okay, listen to me. I don't even consume sugar. I don't eat processed foods. I mean, I'll have fast food every now and again. I'll have ice cream every now and again. You know, those things are delicious, don't get me wrong, but I don't make a habit of it. I do not make a habit of it. I'm very particular about what I put into my body, usually, unless it's French fries or energy drinks. Then I don't seem to care. But marijuana, you know, Joe Rogan nailed it so perfectly on the head when he was talking about people who complain about how marijuana ruins other people's lives. You know, like we've all had that conversation with somebody who's like, oh, marijuana ruined my brother's life. And he said, oh, your brother the loser? Who, if it wasn't marijuana, he'd be ruining his life with scratcher tickets and cheeseburgers? Losers are still going to lose. Marijuana's amazing. Everybody's going to want to do it. Nobody should be overdoing it. Like the way marijuana's portrayed in rap songs and stuff like that, that's fucking ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Smoking 8 blunts a day? Yeah, that's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. But marijuana is an amazing drug. It literally eats cancer cells. It prevents cancer from growing. Okay? I don't have an appetite unless I smoke a little weed. I get way more accomplished throughout the day if I smoke a little bit of weed. It is like, it's better than caffeine for me. If I get a nice little hybrid, like a 50-50, maybe like a 60-40, I'm good. I'm going to get way more accomplished than I would after 4 or 5 cups of coffee. It is absolutely asinine to talk trash about marijuana by itself. If you want to say, hey, things like marijuana, cigarettes, and alcohol are bad, I'm there with you. From that perspective, I understand. But people are getting paid by Big Pharma to talk trash about marijuana. For those of you that don't know, I'm government property. I sign my soul over to the government. At any given time, they can tell me to do something and I have to do it. That's how my life works. If they say, go here, do this, I have to go there, and I have to do that. They give me a hard time all the time about smoking weed. They give me a hard time all the time about smoking weed. And I go, what's so bad about it? And they go, oh, this study came out and it said that marijuana makes you retarded, or you won't be able to have kids, or, you know, it'll make you short, it'll make you fat, or it'll make you lazy, or it'll make you gay. Okay, well, who financed that study? Oh, the United States federal government. You know who suffers as a result of the legalization of marijuana? Big Pharma, Big Oil. Because don't forget, Big Pharma is just a extension of Big Oil. All those pills you're taking that's oil. They're using crude oil to produce your pills. Yeah. And they're losing billions of dollars. And I will tell this to the VA doctor. I'll say, well, isn't it weird that these guys are paying for all this research after we've already established that marijuana isn't nearly as bad as they've been claiming for the past 60 years, but they still want to claim it's even worse now? I'll say to the VA doctor, is this not true that the Big Pharma's lost billions of dollars as a result of the legalization of marijuana? And the doctor has to say yes. But I say, well, doesn't it make sense that if a company loses billions of dollars, they'll do whatever it takes to get that money back? And they'll say yes. And I'll say, was this test, was whatever it is the government did, was it given to a third party, a random third party, not a third party chosen by the United States federal government, but was it given to a third party to confirm? No, it wasn't. So we've literally got Big Pharma, Big Oil, and the federal government spending millions and millions of dollars trying to get billions and billions back. And the way they do it is by saying, oh, marijuana, that's for lefties, or that's for losers, or no, that's alcohol, that's cigarettes, that's cheeseburgers, that's fast food. That's spending money you don't have. That's for losers. That's maxing out your credit card. That's for losers. How many people do that don't even smoke weed? Probably way more than those who smoke weed and don't get shit done. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a loser, marijuana is just going to enhance losing. The conservatives I smoke with, they get shit done. They're running companies. They're raising families. They're helping me out. They've got time and energy and effort to do all of that. But to say it's marijuana's fault that losers are going to like it, that's just stupid. And remember, this was a pole-smoking faggot who didn't have anything to say about alcohol. There's another gigantic red flag. Like I said, if you're going to say all these things are bad, I'm with you. I'm not going to agree with you, but I will understand your position. You'll get way more sway from me by just saying I think anything that alters your mind is bad. That makes way more sense. But these guys aren't saying that. They're saying, do your cocaine. Right? Dude's a cokehead saying, oh, marijuana, that's for lefties. Cocaine is for losers. Have you ever met a winner that has a habit of doing cocaine? I haven't. I used to be surrounded by cokeheads. They're all a bunch of fucking losers. A lot of them didn't smoke weed. They're still fucking losers. So I want you guys to just not fall for the bullshit. Feel free to do your own research. Feel free to do your own study. Like I said, marijuana has been used medicinally for over 5,000 years. Some of the greatest minds used marijuana. Confucius, Galileo, Geraldo Rivera. I can't think right now. But just let's I unfollowed Jake Shield. I still like him. Still going to support him. But I'm not going to... let me rephrase that. I'm going to support him in a tertiary perspective. I'll think, oh yeah, that guy's making sense. But I won't follow him. I won't like him. I'm not going to go to any events that he's speaking at. This shit's important, man. Don't give us propaganda. Don't stand yourself up on the truth and then throw in propaganda. That's the easiest way to fail. So currently, as it stands right now, fuck you, Jake Shields. Get your shit together. And that faggot pole smoker you had on your show, someone needs to punch him in the fucking face. Thank you. This next topic was something I was planning on hoping to discuss on the Real Quick Though podcast. As a lot of you know, I'm no longer on the Real Quick Though podcast. So I'm going to have to do it on my own. Apparently, Julius would rather platform the exact person who drug his name through the mud for the past 3 to 6 months than have me on his show. Which is, that's kind of a dick move. Like, Artie Lopez just literally spent months bad-mouthing Julius, talking shit about his name, how he's not welcome at Gigi's. I'm hearing this from comedians. And then Julius has him on his show. Now, bear in mind, the only problem Artie had with Julius was that I was on his show and talking about how Artie's a big fat cokehead loser crybaby who literally cries. I've literally seen him cry. And instead of going, yeah, clearly I'm not a man, everybody just decided to take a step back or take a step down. Which is frustrating because I thought Julius was a stand-up guy. If somebody takes the time to drag my name through the mud, I'm not going to platform them. Unless there's some sort of resolution, apology, some sort of reconciliation, some sort of admission of guilt. I didn't watch this show. I don't really like podcasts, and Artie doesn't have anything interesting to say, so why bother? But it just made it that much more obvious. I've been on my own this whole time, so I'm going to have to do this report on my own. This report is on the CIA's involvement in the popularity of gangster rap. Because it's now common knowledge that the CIA was heavily involved in early 80s gangster rap across the board, but especially gangster rap. NWA's lyrics were reportedly written by members of the federal government, by the Department of War. Their intention is to create antisocial, anti-American behavior with the intention of keeping prisons full. Now I'm going to show you a video where Ice Cube says the people who own the record labels also own the for-profit prisons. So they're encouraging people to go to prison with their music, profiting off of that, profiting off people going to prison, profiting off people going to prison. So here it is. I'm not going to do anything new. I'm just going to show you what you should have seen already. At this point, I think it's fairly obvious that the CIA did create rap music with the intention of filling prisons. Let's go ahead and check out the report.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So,
Literally the same people?
literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So, you know, it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that, you know, the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee. Meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. So the narrative is really kind of, you know, structured and really made into what the record company want the record to be, and what the, you know, a lot of artists are frustrated with this kind of music making. You know, a lot of people, you know, feel like they're being told by the label.
I can't even tell you how hard the CIA runs the rap game. It's insane. The State Department just recently brought like 22 hip-hop artists from all these different conflict zones. I can walk you through in Bangladesh how USAID was funding rap musicians, reporting back to the State Department how the songs were designed to create street protests, producing their music videos.
You're talking about ones from other countries right now.
They were also working with USAID to secretly fund the hip-hop movement in Cuba.
John Homeston, a retired CIA agent, has admitted on national Russian television that the CIA was behind the creation of the 1980s hip-hop scene and financed major hip-hop acts including NWA, Africa Boombada, and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The government at the time spent, quote, big money, serious money, on this covert operation destined to further division and corrupt the American youth to nihilist, anti-establishment, and anti-American ideologies, he explained in a half-hour interview broadcast on national television. Famous hip-hop songs of the legendary hip-hop outfit NWA were even scripted by a team of psychologists and war propagandists of the CIA.
Hip-hop was a CIA operation from the inception, even in the 80s.
CIA financed 80s hip-hop. John Homeston, a retired CIA agent, has admitted this week on national Russian television that the CIA was behind the creation of the 1980s hip-hop scene and financed major hip-hop acts, including NWA, African Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Fives. When Crazy Bone read it,
in 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music, and ultimately, American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. Between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them.
The dude said, well, where's Brand New Media? Where's Latifah? Where's Public Enemy? Where's all of that shit? But they also work to get you to believe anti-establishment. They're just step one before you get to gangster rap.
According to the former agents, famous hip-hop lyrics of the legendary hip-hop outfit NWA were scripted by a team of psychologists and war propagandists inside the CIA. Fuck the police and other anti-establishment lyrics were intended to unleash a wave of cynicism towards authorities, promote the use of narcotics, and glamorize the gangster life in the minds of impressionable young people. The CIA worked in tandem with the music industry elites.
Hip-hop was a CIA operation from the inception, even in the...
So there you have it. The hardest nigga is the one doing the most shucking and jiving for the federal government. Isn't this some bullshit? So popular rappers, popular gangster rappers, they're tools of the federal government. They work for the CIA. 50 Cent. I'm totally making that up. I don't know if that's true or not, but down with gangster rap is what I say.